This is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. It's been more than a decade now since developers have built an apartment complex in the city of Venice, but one group is looking to change that.
If approved, the new complex could be built off Laurel Road and Twin Laurel Boulevard. Some people who live near that site are not happy with the idea, but the developer says it's a perfect location. ABC7's Christopher Brantley is joining us live from Venice with more on this proposal. Christopher.
Well, Scott and Haley, Tuesday's City Council meeting was 15 hours long. And it turns out one of the longest meetings that the city of Venice has had. It ended well after midnight. And it turns out all of those extra hours may have paid off because common ground is being found. To develop or not to develop? That seems to be the question.
The last apartment complex that was built was probably 15 years ago. And even that's an age restricted for older adults.
Jeff Boone is the attorney representing the current property owner. Currently, the property is zoned to build 204 high-end condos, but Boone and his client would like to change that to an apartment-style complex.
We said for sure that we're going to need more units than what's presently approved for the high-end condo. We just don't know how many in the end can actually be fit on the site. That's really the key.
The neighbors to the direct south are not so thrilled. They worry about overdevelopment. Boone says it's too perfect a location, seeing as it's sandwiched in between Publix and Laurel Nokomis School. The homeowners and their attorney were unable to go on camera Friday, but we did find a chain of public emails that explains they want, among other things, a wall built in between the properties and a maximum on the height of the apartment buildings. To add to it, in between the resident's home and the empty lot is a 170-foot wide FPL easement for power lines.
Seems to be somewhat of the same challenge for them as we've seen in some of the other developments. Abutting property owners own property with certain conditions around them, environmental conditions which they tend to enjoy.
According to that chain of emails, the two sides are getting closer to coming to an agreement, just in time for a face-to-face meeting next week. And if there's ever a question if football draws people together, in these public emails, attorneys on both sides agree they'll be rooting for Florida football this weekend. Perhaps that will be a foundation for compromise next week. Live in Venice, Christopher Brantley, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Christopher. An undercover investigation in Manatee County ends with the arrest of 11 contractors. Multiple agencies were involved in this three-day sting. Investigators say those arrested advertised that they could do plumbing or electrical work, but did not have the proper licensing or training. They also say the contractors did not have the workers' compensation coverage. If convicted, those arrested could face up to 5 years in prison.
Debate over the use of security cameras continues in the community of Newtown tonight after a meeting with Sarasota Police Department was cut short. Sarasota Police Chief Bernadette DePino ended the New Beginnings meeting on Wednesday after conversation turned to plans to upgrade the surveillance system. The city operates 84 cameras, 41 of which are in Newtown. Some believe the cameras unfairly target the minority community. Others believe it benefits public safety.
Here in Newtown, seems like every corner or every other little corner, whatever, has cameras, and they're facing in people's yards. That's invasion of privacy.
It's safety. I'm 65 years old. I'd be glad to have cameras out here for my protection.
The discussion may have been cut short at Wednesday's New Beginnings meeting, but it continues tonight here on ABC7 News at 7.
The Bradenton Police Department is getting a better idea of what some residents are concerned about. Some police officers met with people who live in the Bradenton community at McDonald's on Cortez Road. The department regularly holds these Coffee with a Cop events to give residents a chance to ask officers any questions they may have. It's an effort to improve trust and build relationships, one cup of coffee at a time.
It's an informal way to just sit down and find out what they're thinking, if they have ideas or questions. Last week we heard ideas on different patrol options that people would like to see.
If you missed this morning's Coffee with the Cop, the police department is hosting another one tomorrow morning at Chick-fil-A on Cortez Road starting at 8:30. Great idea. And even if you didn't know that you were there for that event, you just happened to be eating, then you can still chat with the officers.
That's right. Great opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to find out what's happening in our weather this evening. A Friday night ahead of us, and here's Bob with more.
Well, the visible satellite imagery showing some pretty nice weather right now. We are looking at a few fair weather cumulus clouds moving overhead. This activity associated basically on an east to northeasterly wind flow, and we aren't looking at much rainfall. A few showers along the east coast, but that has been about it. Currently, it is looking pretty good out there. 89 degrees on the warm side, 68 on the dew point. Winds out of the east-northeast at 15. The pressure 30.05 inches. And that is fairly high. It's been holding steady. Temperatures through this evening staying into the mid-70s under generally fair skies, running in through 11 o'clock, so it looks to be pretty good. And, as far as the overall radar picture goes, some big storms along a little line of low pressure and also a little front to the north of us, but not much going on here. Some heavier showers down to our south. We are in for a little bit better chances for rainfall over the weekend. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Donald Trump continues to lash out at the women accusing him of inappropriate behavior and sexual assault. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton was off the campaign trail, but she had a powerful presidential stand-in, President Obama. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest in the race for the White House.
Donald Trump on the ground in North Carolina expanding his attacks against the Clintons, the media, and the women who accused him of unwanted sexual advances.
The stories are total fiction. They're 100% made up. They never happened. They never would happen.
Trump hit his accusers on their looks.
Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you.
But GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan was in Wisconsin trying to refocus the race to Election Day. Ryan targeted Hillary Clinton and her policies.
When Hillary Clinton says we are all stronger together, what she means is that we are stronger if we are all subject to these rules to government.
While Ryan didn't address the latest developments involving his nominee, President Obama took them straight on from Ohio.
It's always interesting to me to see folks who talk tough, but then don't act tough. Because if you're tough, you don't make excuses.
Protesters interrupted both the president and former President Bill Clinton. Demonstrators calling him a rapist.
They've had a very bad week, and so they're doing the best they can.
Hillary Clinton was sort of dancing it off on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Ellen asked Clinton about her wish for her upcoming 69th birthday.
I really wish that I will be the president that our country needs right now.
Despite the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails allegedly from the Clinton campaign, she is up in the polls against Trump. ABC News has not been able to confirm the claims made by Trump's accusers. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
A federal judge is giving some voters in Georgia more time to register to vote. Hurricane Matthew disrupting the final sign-up days for new voters. Today, a federal judge ruled voters in Savannah and surrounding Chatham County must be allowed to register through next Tuesday. Earlier this week, Florida's voter registration deadline was also extended to Tuesday, October 18th.
A courtroom showdown caught on camera. A Michigan judge leaped into action to help a court officer restrain an unruly defendant. It all began when the man accused of violating a personal protection order got into an argument with Judge John McBain.
You know what? I told you to leave her alone. And apparently that didn't get through loud and clear. So today, you're going to jail for 3 days. You and her are buddy-buddy. Y'all get along. Y'all are 45 days county jail. Days in the county jail. You want to go for a year? Well, try it right now. One more word on you, it'll be a year of county. You're going to jail for a year in the county. 365 days county jail.
This heated exchange turned into a scuffle, and the judge stripped off his robe and ran to the court officer's aid and pounced on the defendant. The judge says he was concerned about the safety of the man and the court officer. Officials reviewed the tape and say that the judge didn't do anything wrong.
Thinking about a trip to Cuba? You may want to bring an extra bag. The U.S. is lifting the limits on how much Cuban cigars and rum Americans can bring back from the island. The Obama administration announcing today a new round of executive actions designed to increase trade and travel with Cuba. Under the current rules, Americans can only bring back $100 worth of items. But starting Monday, Americans can bring home as many cigars and bottles of Cuban rum as they want. However, it still won't be possible to order items online and have them shipped internationally.
Hunsader Farms in Bradenton is getting ready for its 25th annual Pumpkin Festival. The Hunsader team is lining up pumpkins, setting up games, and preparing activities for families. There will also be some free live music, shows, hay rides, and competitions for the kids. The festival will take place over the next 3 weekends. Admission is $10 for adults. Kids 12 and under are free. It's a good fall time.
It's always a great time for kids, yeah. Still to come in your Suncoast News, some items around your house could be harmful to your pets.
The surprising things that may lead to a trip to the vet for your dog.
Need new windows? Buy direct from the factory. New South Window is having a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Buy 4 windows, save 25%. Buy 6 windows, save 30%. Buy 8 or more windows and save 35%. How? Because New South owns the factory and you cut out the middleman. Award-winning, energy-efficient windows and doors installed with a lifetime warranty. New South Windows are made in Florida for Florida homes by Florida workers. Visit newsouthwindow.com or call now.
If you have a suspicion for harboring prostate cancer, we have a way of diagnosing by using an exquisite instrument called 3-dimensional color flow power Doppler ultrasound. Using this system, we can identify abnormalities within the prostate that you could otherwise never detect. The Totoli Cancer Center is the only center in the southeastern United States which has this technology. If you have prostate cancer, we will find it.
Types of timber, cuts of meat, cooking times, temperatures, rubs, seasonings, sauces. You name it, they know it. That's what makes them who they are, Sonny's Pitmasters. And proud of it. Come get some baby back ribs at Sonny's Barbecue. On their own or paired with favorites like jalapeno cheddar hot links or pulled or sliced pork plus 2 sides and bread. Sonny's Barbecue. Local Pitmasters since '68.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Your home is the largest investment you have. So when you're looking for furniture, window treatments, and accessories, from America's top brands like Henredon, American Leather, and Hunter Douglas, the only place you need to go is Bacon's. Quality, service, price. Bacon's Furniture and Design, Sarasota.
If it can fit in your dog's mouth, well, the dog will probably try to eat it. But many of those items can result in a trip to the emergency vet. ABC7's Alex Redmond shows us what to watch out for.
There's a lot of things in the house that you don't think of as being dangerous. For instance, dog toys such as plastic chew toy or something along that line. A nylabone, which is supposed to be safe. They can ingest the whole thing. Rawhide can be a problem. That's why I always tell people when it gets down to a small piece, throw it away.
There are things we probably shouldn't encourage our pets to eat, says Dr. Smith. Then there are things we may not consider that can be dangerous.
Labrador that ate a beach towel, ate the whole thing. We took it out and it could use it again. We found a rubber duck toy in a dog.
Binkies or rubber bottle nipples for babies, says Dr. Smith.
Very common, very hard to find because you can't see them on the x-ray. Dogs will eat corn cobs left and right, and they will take a big hunk, and the corn cob can't pass through the gut, and that has to be retrieved surgically.
And there are other things to consider, especially if you have a small dog. Little things like marbles and rocks. Those can go right down his throat, and you wouldn't even know it.
Of course, the varying types of underwear, ladies, men's, kids, socks. Most of the time, luckily, dogs will throw those up.
It's not just dogs that are at risk. Dr. Smith says that cats are also at high risk because they love to play with things like thread.
I have had cats, they'll have a string wrapped around their tongue and the other end sneaking out of the rear end.
Dr. Smith explains this can be life-threatening.
Do not cut the string, do not pull on it. That's the other big mistake. People want to get it out. Then you become the person with the saw, because the more you pull, the more likely you're going to damage the gut.
Then there are accidental and unusual swallowings.
The butcher knife, which pretty much was fit from the mouth down to the stomach.
The knife, says Dr. Smith, was successfully removed.
And the dog had a very small nick at the larynx, and that was it.
Reporting in Sarasota, Alex Redmond, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Alex. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. There's some backup on I-75 northbound from Bee Ridge to Fruitville. The interstate is also moving slowly near State Road 70 in Manatee County. Now let's head over to Bob.
Well, looks like the Cortez Bridge is working pretty good right now, looking pretty good there through this late morning and early afternoon. A few clouds coming in from the east to the west, but that's been it. No rain and traffic going smoothly across the bridge right now. That bridge is going to get full of traffic in the next couple of months as more and more people start to move down here as temperatures start to chill out a bit up north. We're looking at this east and northeasterly wind flow tonight. A little bit breezy this evening, but not too bad. And looks like a nice night, really, with no real threat of any significant rainfall. Just a slight chance for some sprinkles, if you will, but even that is very small, less than 20%. They're getting a few along the east coast. They're not having much success making it all the way over, although the closest county appears to be into Polk and also into Hardy County. Have had a few very light rain showers there, but nothing significant. Currently, it's 89 degrees, and we have a few clouds. The dew point 68, humidity at 50%. The pressure is fairly high, 30.05 inches. That's holding steady. The high today was 89 degrees, above average. Our normal high at 86 and 94. The record set in 1925, and no rainfall to report. And we'll start to see that number go up a little bit over the weekend, especially on Sunday, as our rain chances will be increasing somewhat due to some instability in the atmosphere that'll be moving through. 79 now into Jacksonville. It's 83 in Orlando, 86 degrees in Miami, and 85 now in Key West. And temperatures around town, 90 in Bradenton and 89 in Cortez. We are anticipating temperatures to drop down into the mid-80s to lower 80s as the kickoff occurs for football Friday night. And there goes Nicole, still firing up some big storms, still a hurricane, but in the North Atlantic. And we're watching a little disturbance down here in the Caribbean. Nothing to it right now, but this is an area that we typically watch. A lot of times what happens is fronts come down in October and early November, and the tail end of the front, you can start to see a little spin up where there's a possibility of something maybe in about 7 days from now, but that's a long way off, and the models are not really too excited about it as far as developing a storm down there at this point. Well, Hurricane Nicole just about over as far as the hurricane status goes. More than likely dropping down to tropical storm status as early as tomorrow afternoon as it heads off into the open waters. And for us, a nice day on Saturday. A bit on the breezy side to start things off, but we'll see showers and storms possibly move in the afternoon and evening. The rain chance at 30%. This model here may be a little overdone with the showers, but they'll be around, and they'll be a little bit more significant than just a sprinkle here and there with some accumulation anticipated. Not a lot, but Sunday we look to see a little bit more action developing associated with increased moisture and instability in the atmosphere. Right now, the dry air is around, but it's moving pretty rapidly off to the east and southeast as it does, and this little trough of low pressure starts to increase our instability in the atmosphere, better chances for rain over the weekend. Temperatures rebounding over the northern Rockies and northern Plain states. Boston now 55, though, 63 in Cleveland and St. Louis at 70, 74 in Dallas at this hour, and 78 degrees in Atlanta. Phoenix hot at 93, and 55 or 57 degrees now in Toronto. Winds out of the south, turning around to the northeast for boaters tomorrow. We'll start off with 15-knot winds, and by the afternoon they'll be down to 10 knots, and seas will be right around 2 feet. Bays and inland waters will have a moderate chop, subsiding somewhat in the afternoon. The water temperature now at 80 degrees. High tide, I should say high UV index on your screen. High tide will be 11:58, low tide at 7:04. And the forecast tonight, just a few light showers possible. Chance for afternoon storms tomorrow at 30% and a high of 88 degrees. The extended forecast is calling for better chances for showers and storms Monday, and there'll be a chance for some rain right in through, it looks like, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll get a look at this. This was sent in to me from the Captain Larry McGuire, who's a firefighter up there in Braden, who also runs a charting business. That is a sailfish. Now, the customers that were on board sent it to him. This was in August, and this wasn't too far offshore of Anna Maria. You can see they're in the blue water, so they're out there past 30 miles, obviously, but they were fishing not for a sailfish, but for this one. Now, 11-year-old boy right there is the one who caught it, and eventually they brought it in. So pretty amazing there. I had a chance to try to catch some fish yesterday at Robinson Preserve. I put the kayak in. It was a nice day. They have a nice launching pad right there at Robinson Preserve in northwest Bradenton, and took a little kayak out for a little ride. Got out into the Manatee River, which only takes about 10 minutes to get out there. A little windier, so I didn't venture out too far. The water, looking for red tide, was a little bit discolored, but the red tide, it couldn't really have any ill effects at all. I caught one bait fish, that was it, but nice and sunny out there, to say the least. It was a beautiful day out there in the kayak. As photos go, here's some that were sent in. I talked about that one right there. There's Brody Richardson. He's an 11-year-old. Captain Larry McGuire catching that boat right there, that big sailfish, I should say, and he sent that video in. The beach fishing adventures, we can hear some audio of me out there talking to myself, by the way, on the kayak. There it is. I was just kind of commenting about the nice Robinson Preserve, talking to myself. Anyway, that's right, beach fishing adventures. Stephen getting this one right there by the groins on Longboat Key. That's a huge bull red. And here's another one, Breakwater Charters, Brian Marcy, saying the winds were a bit brisk out there offshore. They've had some small craft advisories, but they were still able to catch some gag grouper pretty close to shore, too. So that's interesting. And then Kellen Hunt, this is a 5-year-old, I think now, 5-year-old with his mom, Kelly, and they're related to Captain Scott Moore, who's a great fisherman, angler up there in Manatee County. Great pictures right there.
Yeah, great catches.
All right.
Better luck next time.
Yeah, a little more time.
Thanks, Bob.
All right.
If you still own a Galaxy Note 7, don't plan to bring it on an airplane this weekend. The Transportation Department is banning the passengers and flight crews from bringing the smartphones on planes. This comes after reports of those phones catching fire. The phone may not be carried on board or packed in any checked bags on flights to and from the U.S. or within the country. Passengers trying to travel with the phones will have them confiscated and may face crimes. The order goes into effect tomorrow at noon.
This may not come as a surprise. Wells Fargo isn't opening many new accounts these days. The bank says the number of checking accounts opened plunged by 25% in September compared to the year before. Openings were down by 30% from August, which was right before the bank announced that it fired more than 5,000 workers for creating unauthorized accounts. Former workers say they were under enormous pressure from management to meet strict sales quotas or risk getting fired.
All right, entertainment news is next. Stay with us.
Sometimes, when the course is difficult and you might take a step where you could fall, it's important to trust and ask for help. That's one of the most important things we learned at Tidewell's Teen Grief Retreat. On your grief journey, there are going to be difficult parts, but you have to trust in yourself and your support systems and know there are people around who will help you make it through. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Gold fever has once again swept the nation. And everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. Introducing the $5 million Gold Rush Doubler. We're doubling cash prizes for over $752 million in payouts. And 36 prizes from $1 million to $5 million. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPV.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident. And it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
The man who won the hearts of millions during Sunday's presidential debate is getting a shot at the spotlight again.
Ken Bone will be reporting from the final presidential debate for ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live on Wednesday. Bone became a pop culture phenomenon during the second presidential debate after asking a thoughtful question about the country's energy needs. He has since become the subject of memes and has garnered a lot of media attention. No word yet on if he will wear that now famous red sweater once again. I'm thinking he will. Chris Rock is making a comeback after an 8-year absence from stand-up. The comedian has reportedly signed a mega deal with Netflix. That's according to The Hollywood Reporter. They say Rock will be paid a record-breaking $40 million for 2 specials, more than A-list comedians Jerry Seinfeld and Amy Schumer have ever commanded. The Emmy-winning performer will record his first show in 2017 and then follow it up with a world tour.
We've missed him. Expect at least 4 more movies set in the Harry Potter world. Author J.K. Rowling says the upcoming Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them will be the first of a 5-film franchise. The first film is due out next month on November 18th. The release date on that second film has not been revealed just yet.
And at the box office, Ben Affleck is hoping for a first-place finish, The Accountant being released this weekend. And the tracking isn't great. It might have trouble topping $20 million. Kevin Hart's stand-up comedy film What Now is looking at second place, and the other new release, teen superhero flick Max Steel, might not finish in the top 5.
I think we're waiting for that next blockbuster.
Yeah, we're kind of been missing that one, but The Accountant is supposed to be pretty. The cast is amazing.
Yeah.
So.
And then that next Harry Potter film.
Those are going to be. We already
one.
know. I mean,
yeah,
those are going to be fantastic.
We'll be right back with more news.